Hey Sonia, did you finish packing for our trip? Mom said to make sure you do everything. She says not to forget anything as well. I'm so looking forward to this vacation. I took a 1-week leave from work just for this.
Oh, sorry, I'm not quite done packing yet.
What? You're still not finished? We're leaving tomorrow morning, you know. What are you even doing? You're just at home all day.
Sorry, but it looks like Maria has a fever today. I went to the doctor with her, which is why I didn't have time to pack.
Huh? A cold? Come on, seriously? What are you going to do if I catch the cold as well? I wouldn't be able to go on our vacation.
What? It can't be helped, Carlo. Even the doctor said that children suddenly get fevers often. The temperature has been changing really quickly recently as well, which is probably why she got a cold in the first place.
Those are just excuses. It's your fault as her mother that you didn't take care of her better. Jesus, you're a failure of a mother, Sonia. You let our child catch a cold when we're about to go on an onset vacation? Come on, Sonia, you need to do better.
Even if you tell me that now.
Can't you just do something about her cold until we leave tomorrow? We have medicine for cold, right?
But Maria is still only 3 months old, you know. We can't just make her drink a bunch of medicine. Even the doctor at the clinic said that we just have to wait until she recovers. The doctor says she should be fine in a few days.
A few days? But we're supposed to go on vacation starting tomorrow. We can't wait a few days. Jesus, what a useless doctor. Then what are we going to do tomorrow then? Maria can't just come with us or else she might spread the disease to the rest of us.
To be honest, I'd be thankful if we just delayed the trip. Clearly Maria can't come with us and someone has to stay behind to take care of her, so…
What?
I mean, we don't know if Maria is going to recover until tomorrow or not. And even if she does, who knows if she'll get a fever again while we're on vacation? It's just too risky.
Stop messing around. Why do we have to delay our vacation? Even my mother was looking forward to this for so long now. We can't just cancel the vacation on the day before we're supposed to leave just because Maria has a fever.
What do you mean, just because Maria has a fever? Personally, I think that this is nothing to joke about.
Fine. I don't care. Don't come to our vacation if you don't want to. Stay at home with Maria. I'll just go with my mom. You're happy with that, right?
But I'd be really glad if you stayed behind to help me with taking care of Maria, though. Also, I might get sick too, and it would be really bad if no one was around to help me if that happens.
Huh? There's no way I'm going to stay behind as well. I've been planning this vacation for months now. And who knows when I'll be able to take 1 week leave from work like this again. I'm going to go on this onsen vacation with my mom without you or not. Just stay at home and take care of Maria and do the housework or something like you always do. Jesus, to think that you would complain about the vacation I planned because of something as trivial as this.
Huh? What are you saying, Carlo? Is your vacation more important than Maria getting a fever?
I don't remember saying anything like that. You're such a hassle to deal with, Sonia. You always make it seem like a big deal when in reality it's nothing. I don't care anymore. I'm going to stay at my parents' house tonight. The stuff I'm going to be bringing to the trip is already at my parents' house anyway. So I'll do the packing myself. I'm not going to come home until you reflect on what you've done, Sonia.
Huh? What do you mean, reflect on what I've done? It's not like I purposefully made Maria catch a cold or something. Hold on, Carlo. I really need you to stay with us until Maria gets better. Hello, Sonia. I heard from Carlo about what happened. Not only have you not finished packing, but you're using your daughter's fever as an excuse, it seems? Seriously, you need to do better than this, Sonia, if you're going to be part of our family. Mother-in-law, but Maria's fever was so sudden and I wasn't used to bringing her to the clinic, so… Stop making excuses! Jesus, you're just going to cause trouble for your husband just because your daughter got a fever? A real mother would do something about this before we left for our vacation. Seriously, Sonia, you're a terrible housewife. You let your child catch the cold and you cause trouble for your husband. You really are a failure of a wife and of a mother. Sorry. I wonder why Carlo ever married a woman like you in the first place. You couldn't even give us a boy that could inherit our property. What? I know you said that you wanted me to give birth to a boy, but it's not like I can choose what gender my child is going to be. Whatever. I was able to do it on my first try, wasn't I? Well, to be honest with you, I wanted to go on this vacation with only my family anyways. I guess it's perfect timing that your daughter got sick because now you won't be able to come. Make sure you reflect on your mistakes while you're at home taking care of Maria, all right? Bye then. Come home, Carlo. Come home right now. Please.
Huh? What's your problem? These notifications are annoying, you know. I'm driving right now, all right?
Maria has a really high fever. It's almost 40 degrees Celsius. I caught a cold from her as well and also have a fever now. I can't move my body well. What should I do? Please, come home and help us.
Seriously, Sonia? You're so selfish. All you think about is yourself. I already told you that I've been planning this vacation for months, and both me and my mother have been looking forward to it, haven't I? Could you think about how me and my mother feel, and not just about your precious baby once in a while?
Huh? But Maria's your child as well. You're her father, Carlo.
I know, I'm her fucking father. But what, do you want me to throw away my life now that I have a child or something? Maybe you're willing to do that, Sonia, but I'm not. Seriously, you could at least keep this shit to yourself, you know. Not only did you not do any preparation for our trip, but now you come up with these lies to try to get me to come back. I mean, why do you want to disturb our vacation like this so much? Is it because you don't want my mother to enjoy herself or something? I know you two don't get along, but please, Sonia. She's still my mother, and I'm not going to accept you disrespecting her like this. So, could you please stop throwing tantrums already? It was a waste of time stopping the car to reply to your texts.
What are you talking about? I'm not lying. I really do have a fever. And I know it's unfortunate that Maria and I had to get sick like this right before we were supposed to go on vacation, but there's really nothing we can do about it now. Please, Carlo. Maria keeps crying, but I myself can barely stand up.
Oh, stop being such a crybaby, Sonia. What do you mean you can barely stand up? I know you're just being overdramatic and you can stand up just fine. And even if you aren't lying, I'm not coming back. It's your job as the mother to take care of your daughter, all right? Even if you do actually have a fever, you're her mother, so you need to take care of her. I'm busy trying to make my mother happy, you know? I can't just think about you two all the time.
Huh? But you're her father, Carlo. It's your job as well to take care of Maria. Are you seriously going to prioritize your mother, who's completely healthy, over us, your sick wife and child?
I already told you that I had planned this vacation so that my mom could have some fun for a change. Stop acting like you two are the only family I have. To think that I was thinking of asking my father, who was going to join us later on, to bring you two with him if you apologized. I guess there's no need for that anymore, though. Don't bother our vacation any more than you already have. I'm going to block your account until you realize your mistakes.
Wait, Carlo! Hold on, I'm really at my limit here.
Hey, Sonia. It's been 3 days since I blocked you. Do you realize now what you did wrong? By the way, the atmosphere in the car on our way to the onsen was terrible because of you. I told Mom about what you said to me and her mood immediately turned sour. She kept complaining about you the way here, talking about how you were so selfish trying to get me to come home and cancel the vacation I had planned for her. Well, She did get in a better mood once we entered the onsen and ate some food and did some sightseeing, though. If you apologize from the bottom of your heart, then I'll consider forgiving you. Even if my mother says that she's willing to forgive you if you apologize. So, will you please stop with this tantrum of yours and apologize to us by video chat or something? If you do that, we'll bring you on our next vacation. Just make sure that next time you and Maria don't get sick on the day before departure. By the way, do you know where my dad is right now? He was supposed to have joined us already. I tried texting and calling him, but he wouldn't answer. Hey, Sonia? Are you even reading these texts? Seriously, this behavior is just too childish, even for you. That's what you have to say after ignoring them for 3 days? I'm impressed at how you can talk like that to your sick wife and child. You'll consider forgiving her? Who the fuck do you think you are? You really are an embarrassment of a man. No, you're an embarrassment of a human being, actually. Huh? What's with that tone of voice? I see you haven't repented even one bit. And to think that I was willing to forgive you after all the bullshit you gave me and Mom. Don't get all cocky on me, all right? Because we won't give you a second chance next time if you do. You're the one who's being cocky, Carlo. Sonia has nothing she needs to repent about. All she did was ask for your help when she really needed it. Sonia? Hold on. You're not Sonia. Who are you then? I'm your father. What? Dad? But why? Where is Sonia and why are you texting from her phone? I'm borrowing Sonia's smartphone right now. You see, she's not in a state to be able to talk to you right now. What? What do you mean she isn't in a state to be able to talk to me? Why not? What's going on? Why, you say? Carlo, do you seriously not realize what you've done? You've left your wife and child at home when they were both sick. Do you seriously think that nothing could have happened? What? But Sonia said it was just a common cold, and people get better from that in just a few days if they just rest, right? Yes, but in this case, a 3-month-old child was also sick. And Sonia was under extreme pressure from having to take care of her while being sick herself. She collapsed and is currently in the hospital. Your daughter, Maria, is in the hospital as well. What? They're in the hospital? But she said it was just a cold. I got a call from the hospital 3 days earlier. They said that Sonia and Maria were taken to the emergency room by an ambulance. According to the paramedics, Sonia collapsed from high fever combined with overwork, and Maria was in a similar state. Luckily, both of them are going to make full recoveries, but they're going to be staying in the hospital for a few days. You've got to be kidding, right? Hold on, which hospital were they taken to? I'm going to come meet them now. You won't be able to see them anymore, Carlo. Actually, I forbid you to even try seeing them from now on. I won't let you do them any more harm than you already have. What? But I'm her husband. You can't just forbid me from not seeing her anymore. Sorry, but I took a look at the conversations you two have been having by text. 3 days ago, they came to you for help since the two of them had really high fevers, Carlo. But not only did you ignore them and prioritize your vacation, but you insulted her and made it seem like she was the one at fault. Maybe you're her husband now, but who knows if that's going to last. Huh? What do you mean by that? Even if you do actually have a fever, you're her mother, so you need to take care of her. I'm busy trying to make my mother happy, you know. Who the fuck do you think you are? She's your wife, not your slave, Carlo. But you're Sonia's husband and Maria's father, aren't you? To think that you would ignore your sick wife and daughter to go on a trip with your mother. You're a disgrace to all fathers. No, all men. Who do you think you are treating your wife like that? That's somebody's daughter, you know. I'm pretty sure they didn't agree to her marrying you just so you could treat her like this. And your daughter Maria too? Your wife risks her life to give birth to that baby, and this is how you treat her? I mean, judging by your texts, you didn't give a fuck as to what happened to her. But that's... I mean... Sonia said it was just a cold. There's nothing to be worried about, isn't it? I thought that she was just throwing a tantrum and over-exaggerating because we had a fight recently. Also, even if she really did have a fever, it's not like I could have done anything if I had returned. Sonia is a capable person as well, so I thought she would be able to handle things. What the fuck are you saying right now? Just because you didn't know what to do means it's okay for you to just abandon your wife and child? Couldn't you have at least brought her to a doctor or something? So you thought that she would be able to handle things because she's a capable person, huh? Have you forgotten that it's only been 3 months since she gave birth? There are probably still a lot of things that she hasn't even gotten used to yet, and she probably hasn't even fully recovered from giving birth yet as well. Not only that, but her parents live far away, so she can't rely on them. Who's going to be there for her if her own husband isn't? But someone who uses their own parents as an excuse to abandon their wife and child isn't being kind to their parents at all. You're a disgrace to me, Carlo. Your mother, who sided with you all this time, is a degenerate as well. I'm impressed she can just call Sonia a failure of a mother like that, when she herself is a piece of trash. You two are a disgrace to our family. Father, but I was really only trying to make Mom happy. You'd risk your wife and child's life just to make your mom happy? Honestly, you disgust me, Carlo. I've been suspicious about how you and Carmen were treating Sonia for a while now. I thought that you might not be treating her with enough respect. It looks like I should have said something earlier. Hold on, Father. Where's the hospital Sonia and Maria are at? Tell me. There's no way I'm going to tell you where they are. Sonia's parents came, and I let them take care of Sonia and Maria. I'm going to go where you two are right now. Hi, Sonia. It's been a week since we last talked, right? I heard that you were discharged from the hospital. I want to talk to you about something.
But isn't there something you want to say to me first?
I'm so sorry. I really am. My father came to our vacation destination after that, and he got extremely mad at the two of us. I'm so sorry about abandoning you two, even though I knew that you had a fever. I'm so sorry that you had to go to the hospital because of me too.
Is that so? Your father scolded you, didn't he?
Yes. He told me that now I'm married and have children, I should prioritize my wife and child above everything else. The things I said to you also can't be forgiven and are unacceptable as a human being. I understand that what he said was correct, and I regret everything I did to you. Father got mad at Mom as well for insulting you so much these past few months. She started crying when Father told her that he was going to divorce her.
And?
What? What I'm trying to tell you is that I regret my actions now that I know what I did was wrong. So could you please give me another chance? I promise I won't abandon you two ever again. You and Maria are going to be my #1 priority from now on. Please. You're at your parents' house now, right? I'll come and pick you up, so could you please come back to our house?
Nah, I think I want to get divorced.
What? Why? Why do we have to get divorced so soon? I promise to never do anything like that ever again, please.
You see, Carlo, I was thinking that if the first words you said to me weren't apologies or excuses, but something like, "How are you feeling?" or "How is Maria?" anything that showed you cared about how the two of us were doing, I would give you another chance.
What?
But you didn't even say anything like that, did you? It was so obvious that all you wanted was for me to forgive you so you could get off easily. At the end of the day, all you think about is yourself, Carlo.
No, that's not true. I really was worried about you two. I was practically going insane not being able to know if you two were all right.
But you didn't even come visit me once these past 3 days. You didn't even bother texting me until now.
To tell you the truth, I did actually want to go to the hospital immediately. But my father refused to tell me where you two were being hospitalized. Also, I didn't text you because I thought that you didn't want to be bothered by me while you were in the hospital. That's why I didn't text you until now when you got out of the hospital.
You should have come even against your father's wishes. You could have gotten on your knees and pleaded with him, or maybe find out where we were by some other way. Just idly waiting until we were discharged from the hospital? If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to do something like that. Not only that, but you wanted to get away with apologizing only by text. It's not that you didn't even bother coming to see me yourself, but you didn't even bother even calling me. Just what do you think I am, Carlo? Some sort of child that you can just fool?
You've got this all wrong. That's not what I meant when I only texted you until now. There was a lot of things happening with me too, you know? So please, let's just talk things through one more time, face to face.
To be honest, I feel like talking to you is just going to be a huge waste of time. You see, I had a lot of time to think about what happened to me until now while I was in the hospital. Since the first day we were married, you've been insulting me from time to time. While I was pregnant, you always just laughed it off and ignored me when I said I was feeling sick in the morning. And when my water broke, I called you and you told me you were too busy since you were at a drinking party. I remember the first time you came to see me and the baby at the hospital, you were drunk as hell. After me and the baby were discharged from the hospital and went home, you still made me do all the housework on top of taking care of the baby. Even though I did all that, you and your mother would always talk about how incompetent of a wife and mother I was. This incident was the final spark necessary to set things in motion, but I was already thinking before that I couldn't put up living with you like this any longer. Don't bother trying to convince me otherwise, because I'm not going to change my mind. You're just going to waste your time.
Please, Sonia, don't say that. I was wrong about everything. I'll apologize as many times as you want me to. I'll help you with the housework and taking care of Maria from now on as well. I promise, I'll change.
No, Carlo. I'm sorry, but I think that's impossible for someone like you. You won't be able to change for our sakes because all you think of is yourself. I mean, you seriously only thought about helping me with the housework and taking care of Maria until now?
Wait, you're making a mistake. I really will change.
I don't care anymore. I'm not willing to go through the same shit again because of you and your mother. If there's something you want to tell me, please contact my lawyer from now on. I left the divorce papers in your house as well, so sign it and turn them in as soon as possible, okay? After that, I blocked all of Carlo's social media accounts and sent him the name card of the lawyer my parents hired for me. Carlo frequently called my parents' home number and even came himself once, but thankfully my parents and my lawyer took care of all of that and turned him away immediately. Thanks to their help, I was able to get some proper rest. I wouldn't know what I would have done without them. After that, me and Carlo got divorced and I barely had to see him throughout the whole process. I made him promise to pay us a sizable alimony on top of child support for Maria. Carlo opposed the alimony and cried about it until the end, but since I no longer had any love or pity for him, it was honestly just an unpleasant sight. Soon after that, Carlo's father also divorced Carlo's mom. It was a mess, and it was almost turned into a court matter, but thanks to the lawyer I introduced to my father-in-law, they were able to get divorced without any complications. After they got divorced, my former mother-in-law lost all of her former spirit and just stayed in her room at Carlo's house all day. It seems that her Alzheimer's is starting to set in as well, so it's probably going to be difficult for Carlo to take care of her. I, on the other hand, returned to my parents' house and am raising Maria with the help of my parents. My father-in-law also sometimes visits us, so he can see his granddaughter. He also helps out in any way he can as well. Apparently he's going to help us even after I return to work. I'm truly thankful for everything he's done for me and my family until now. There are still a ton of things I need to do before my maternity leave ends, but I think I'll do my best for Maria's sake.
Hello. Is this phone number by any chance Henry's wife's number? You go by Sandy, right? Hello? Do you have any idea what's happened with Henry?
As far as I'm aware, Henry went to a class reunion for one of his classes back in middle school, right? So he's gone back to his hometown for it.
Well, I happen to be one of his longtime friends and was in the same class as him in middle school. You can call me Emily. It's a really cute name, right?
Your name is Emily? Well, I guess it's cute. But to be honest with you, I know hundreds of Emilys, and I'm not really sure the name itself is that cute.
What a buzzkill.
So, Emily, when are you going to get on with telling me why you're wanting to talk with me right now?
Huh?
I'm going to assume that you are talking to me right now because you took my phone number from his phone and copied it into yours. I happen to know Henry pretty well, and I'm sure he wouldn't just be handing out my information to you and ask you to text me. So can you please just tell me why you want to talk?
For some reason, I'm getting a bad vibe from you. Well, whatever. I'll tell you what I want from you right now then. And it's nothing that I really want from you, but rather what I want to tell you about me. I've gone and taken your husband home from the class reunion.
Huh? What are you going on about?
You have no idea. In other words, I'm having a little after party with him in this hotel room. That's all.
Huh?
Listen to this. At first, I was looking to take a completely different man away from that reunion to make my lover, you know? But that dick was with another old fart of a woman, and when I came over to talk to him, she began to bark in my face. Ugh. At that point, I was about to give up and thought me going to that reunion was going to be completely pointless. But as I was thinking that, I turned to see my old friend Henry. All that nasty skin he had on his face before, covered in all these little red pimples, had cleared right up and he was looking sexy. And as for those stupid little round glasses that he was wearing before, they'd been replaced by a stylish pair of brown J-bands. And his choice of clothing? Oh, perfect. Totally stylish. I knew this would be my only chance to see him, and so I made him my new target and started my hunt. And within a few hours, I had him in my grasp coming to this hotel with me.
And during that time, did you know about the fact that Henry is married?
I knew that, and I learned about it while bringing him to the hotel room. Actually, I've known about the fact that he's been married for a while now, as I still talk to his parents every so often. Anyway, I haven't seen Henry in over 7 years because he and I are just never around one another. And anytime I'm talking to his mom or dad, he's not in town.
So you've done all of this while knowing he's married?
I really wanted him to be with me, so I had no other choice. When I told him that he's my first love, he began to cry about how much he wanted to treat me nicely and hugged me as we walked to the hotel.
And why are you telling me all of this now? Knowing very well that I'm his wife and that I have been married to him for a while now.
You know why I'm telling you about this. There's only one thing I'd want, and that's for you and Henry to get a divorce. And then you can hand him over to me so that I can have him forever.
You want me to give him to you? You already stole him from me. How could I hand something over to you, or someone, when you've already gone and stole them from me?
I just told you, though. He's always loved me, and even though I told him he's my first love, he came out and said he had this huge crush on me back in school. In other words, that means he and I are meant for one another. And that also means that he's always been mine, so I didn't steal him from you. Now that we've run into one another again, and I'm with him now, I'd like you to give him back. So hurry up and get that divorce so I can have him.
I guess if he's always had that crush on you, then he was never mine to begin with. So I get what you're wanting to say here. Now, I never really knew about how he looked back in the day, but these days Henry is doing pretty good for himself. He happens to work for a very large company that is partners with other companies all over the globe. I'm sure you already knew about that, though, as well. And about how he's expected to be bringing in around $100,000 a year now with his job.
Well, of course, all of that only adds to how amazing he is. And that's why I'm in love with him. And he's in love with me because I'm cute and precious to him. No mistaking that. So, that means he has no need for you anymore. As long as you go through with a divorce, then everything about him will come to me, and I can finally have my man. So hurry it up and get that divorce, please.
I'll give you an answer to that after I've had a conversation with Henry about all of this. He said he'd be coming home tomorrow, so I'll sit him down and have a talk with him. Please let him know that, since you're actually right there with him.
Will do. But I already know that Henry wants this divorce, so no matter what you try to do, he's going to leave.
Henry, right about now you should be back home from your hometown, right? Where are you?
I'm at Emily's apartment.
Is that right? So it's true then? That you ended up running into your old friend from middle school that you always had a crush on and she took you to a hotel last night?
I'm sorry.
So I can take this as you saying you want to get a divorce then?
Yeah.
You have anything else to say to me? Anything at all?
Well, when it comes to you, Sandy, you really are an amazing woman. You say that you can do anything and everything on your own, and that's no lie. You really are able to do everything. So, for myself, well, you happen to support me with both my work and with my private life equally. I'm totally thankful that you've always been there for me helping out, and I want you to know that, but when it comes to the person who knows me best and knows how to please me the most, I'd have to say it's Emily. Also, when it came to her, she's always been in love with me ever since middle school. And, she just confessed that to me yesterday at the class reunion.
I see. So the reason you and her ended up being in that hotel room yesterday and why you're over at her apartment now is because you both have liked each other since middle school?
So, I want you to know that whether it was back in middle school or even now, I've always been thinking about Emily, and have always wanted her to be my wife.
All right, I understand. But just because of that reasoning, I don't think we can get a divorce.
Why not?
Even if you and her ended up having a wonderful night with one another, this is a good example of you being unfaithful to me. So I can't just have this settled with a simple divorce. I'm going to make sure I have you and her pay your dues to me through settlements for this, and I'd like to tell both my parents about this and yours.
Well, actually, I was planning on doing the same thing.
One other thing. Since the both of us are working for the same company in the same office, I'm going to have to report what's happened to us to my manager. And I think you should be doing the same then.
Ah, that's right.
I think that you should be prepared to have a lot of people giving you the side eye and things like that after they hear about what you've done.
I guess there's no helping any of that, is there? All right.
Now I'm going to get myself a lawyer and we will sit down and discuss what needs to be done and go through all the paperwork. Once I've had time to talk with my lawyer about all of this and about the money that I can get from both you and Emily, then I'll go ahead and contact you again. Along with that, I'll hand in the divorce paperwork to the courthouse.
All right.
Sandy, thank you so much for getting that divorce with Henry. And by the way, I only just found out about this a little bit ago, but you happen to be 6 years older than Henry, and you work in a higher position than him with that company?
That's right. I first met him when he joined the company as I was in charge of training him, and after some time we grew closer to one another and got married.
Well then, you're aware that he's in a much better place now being with someone like me rather than with some old fart like you. And as for yourself, now that you've been divorced by a younger man, that pretty much means that that's it for you, and you'll never be with another man again, right? But don't worry, I'll make sure that Henry is very happy with me and that you are kept up to date on that. just to make sure you don't get super jealous of us, all right?
I'm not going to mind you sending me a text about how you feel as though you've come out on top over me. But shouldn't you be a bit more concerned about what's been going on with him?
Huh? Oh, no way. Are you going to try and say to me that you know more about Henry than his longtime friend does? Well, I'm sorry, Sandy. I just got home from handing in our marriage papers to the courthouse with him, so this pretty much means game over for you.
You've barely even been around him recently, and you're already jumping to marriage? You both haven't seen one another for 7 years, and you thought it was all right to just marry him like that? Are you both going to be okay? I feel like you two should have at least taken a bit more time to get to know one another again.
Come on now. You're not going to ever get him back from me, so stop holding on to these feelings. Your time is up, you old fart. He's thrown you away for a much more cute and young girl, and he'd never turn around and go back to you.
Hello? What do you want now?
What the hell is going on here?
What do you mean by here?
I'm talking about Henry. What is all of this? Why the hell is this happening?
Can you explain what's going on there in a little more detail?
Why is he sleeping in so much? His alarm had gone off 4 times before he finally got up and started getting ready for work. And he didn't even bother to wash his face or shave. His hair is still a mess from the pillow, and he's just going to head to work like that? Also, why the hell is he farting so much all the dang time? And when it comes to his work clothes, he just takes them off and leaves them on the floor. Same thing goes for his dishes. He doesn't even bother to turn off the lights either when he leaves a room. And after using the bathroom, he doesn't flush the toilet. And what's worse than any of this? He doesn't even have a good sense of fashion. What the hell happened to the man I saw at the middle school reunion a while ago?
Oh no, this is all happening a lot quicker than I was expecting.
Huh? What do you mean?
He already had problems when in the house with me, never having manners that you'd think an adult his age should have. But at work, he tends to be just as bad, never wearing proper clothing for the job and always farting really loudly in his cubicle. I'm going to assume that he never took his clothing chart with him over to your place, or that he isn't even bothering to look at it anymore now that he's with you.
His clothing chart?
It's this whole grid that tells him what shirts go with what pants and about what ties to wear and what jackets.
What? Was that all written down inside that sketchbook he had brought along with him to my place?
That's the one. I'm sure you already know about how much of a slob he is when it comes to his manners, since you've known him far longer than I have. But he's especially bad when it comes to his sense of fashion, and that's why we had a chart made up for him. I made this whole chart for him that would tell him what clothes to go with what and what days to wear that set on.
What? So then, that means that the man I saw at the reunion...
You always said it like he had done that by himself, but in reality, I was the one that got him dressed up like that and made him look more appealing.
What the hell?
You are more than welcome to use that chart with him to maintain a good look on him that otherwise he will never create by himself alone.
But I threw it away.
Really?
Anything that I thought had to do with you, I threw in the trash can outside. And that includes the clothing chart you made for him, along with some of the clothing I thought you bought for him.
All right then, so you're saying that you no longer have any of the things that helped him look as good as he once did.
Sandy, please, can you please get Henry back to the handsome-looking man he was before he came over to my apartment?
Well, that happens to be your job now, since you are his wife and all. As you had told me before, you happen to know him way better than I do, having been around him since middle school, and so I'm sure you'd be far better at helping him out than I am. Right?
Well, about that, can I at least have you buy him a few more sets of clothing and make up another clothing chart?
That's not going to happen.
Why not?
I am not going to take care of the man who ran off with another girl who asked me to divorce him after. I'm no longer related to anything that has to do with him, but I know someone who is, and that's you, Emily. And another thing, 2 weeks ago I made the choice to transfer.
Transfer? Recently, I was promoted from department manager into a regional manager, and so I have a change of responsibilities now. So, you were moved to a different location? Yep. I'm very thankful for that as well. Thankful for the divorce, I mean. Because I no longer had to be married to Henry, I was free to do as I pleased, which includes moving to another town. What? So because I'm no longer working in the same office building, I've moved out of that town and am about 2.5-hour drive away. And because I'm now a regional manager, I have even less time to worry about what's going on in the lives of two strangers. No way. The way Henry is right now, if he doesn't change, I'm not going to be happy. Well, if that's the case, then he might need his new wife to start working on some strategies that'll help him get back to the man she loved him as. Good luck with that. A few days after that, due to no longer having me around to support his bad habits, Henry started to have a lot of problems with HR at work due to his poor style and manners. And only a few days after he had been talked to by HR, he and Emily got a divorce. Apparently, the only way the divorce worked out was because Emily had to force him into signing the papers, after he had cried and cried about how he couldn't live without her. Due to the reality that the girl he had always loved since middle school turned her back on him and kicked him out of her life, only a little bit after getting married, Henry has gotten very depressed. And because of this, he never left his place and soon lost his job. When it comes to Emily, she wasn't working at the time she took Henry from me, and so after kicking him out, she no longer had the money to pay her rent, and ran back home to her parents looking for help. But they both told her to get out of their faces as they had disowned her not too long ago. She was last seen running away from her hometown for good, and ever since then, nobody has heard a thing about her.
Hey, Maria. Are you going to be working a night shift at that cleaning job of yours again today?
Yes, Lucio. If it's dinner you're worried about, then I put it in the fridge, so just put it in the oven if you want to eat.
That's not what I'm talking about. It's a problem that you're always working night shifts because it's simply unnatural for a wife to be doing such a thing. That cleaning company of yours you work at, surely there are also jobs during the day, right? Why don't you just stop working night shifts and switch to doing day job shifts instead?
Oh, why should I do that? You can earn more money working night shifts than by working day shifts since there's a bonus. I don't think this is the case, but you're not making fun of my job again, are you?
Well, I did just get scolded for doing that at our last family gathering. Our son Glauco getting mad at me was especially humiliating, which is why I don't intend on bringing it up again.
It's fine if that's the case, but I still can't get over how you told me that if you've got that time to clean for someone else, then clean the house, will you? I mean, I would if it made money, but it doesn't.
Yeah, whatever. I still don't think I like my wife cleaning for someone else. Actually, I don't care if they get mad at me anymore. I'll say whatever I want to say because I'm the husband and pillar of his family. I don't like how you're always working night shifts.
Huh? So now you're not just making fun of my job, but you're also making fun of night shifts as well? And what do you mean you're the pillar of this family, Lucio? Where did you even get that idea?
I'm the husband, and the husband is the pillar of the family. And I'm not making fun of you. This is a valid complaint. To think that our son Glauco is about to get married, yet there's still one person in the family who has a different schedule than everyone else. Seriously, do you know how annoying it is to see you go off to work every night just as I'm about to go to bed? Have you ever thought about what Glauco's new wife Nadia is going to think when she comes here and sees you doing night shifts every day? You're surely going to be looked down upon by Nadia if she finds out that her mother-in-law works night shifts as a cleaner.
No, Nadia isn't the kind of person who would judge others based on something so superficial. And what are you even talking about? I never heard that Nadia was going to be living with us.
Well, she is. Now you know, I guess.
But this is the first time anyone's told me this.
I mean, our son Glauco is our only child, and he still lives with us at our house. So it isn't only natural that his wife would come and live with us once they get married? Which means that you're going to have to live with your daughter-in-law. And I'm not going to have any of it if you two start fighting. Also, if you work night shifts, there's going to be a possibility that you're going to make Nadia do all the housework that needs to be done during the day.
Seriously? That's the main point of your argument? Why don't you and Glauco do the housework if you're so worried about Nadia having to do everything?
No! Housework is a woman's job. Jesus, Maria, do you have no common sense?
Huh? Wow. So that's how you're going to be. Seriously, you're the only person in this family who still thinks like that. This is 2023, Lucio, not the 60s. Besides, you don't even understand why I'm working night shift in the first place. Trying to argue with you makes my head hurt.
Huh? What are you talking about? I know it's 2024. Don't make fun of me.
My shift is about to begin, so I'll end the conversation here.
Hey, wait! I'm not done scolding you, Maria! Mother, is it true that you and Dad agreed to our marriage on a basis that we're going to be living with you?
Huh? Did your father tell you that?
Yeah, he did. You see, Father sent a letter to Nadia's house titled How to Be a Housewife. It's some sort of rule book he made for Nadia when she moves in here.
What? Seriously?
Sorry, Mom, but we don't intend on living with you guys, at least for the time being. I mean, I'm an only child. So me and Nadia agree that we'll probably have to move in with you guys at some point when you guys get older. But we're not ready to do that just yet, and we want some time for the two of us.
Don't believe what your father tells you. I never thought that you guys were going to be living with us anyways, because I heard about how you two got married and how you've already prepared a new house. Although your father should have heard about it as well. As usual, it seems to have flown completely over his head.
Maybe he forgot about it?
Yes, maybe he did. But knowing your father, it never went in his head in the first place. Please tell Nadia that your father is just causing trouble on his own, and at least I don't intend on making you guys move in with us. Tell her not to worry and that I'm sorry for my husband's actions. I'll do something about your father myself.
Understood. I'm counting on you then, Mother.
Hello, Lucio. There is something I want to talk to you about.
What is it?
It seems that you sent Glauco's wife a strange letter?
Oh, the one titled How to Be a Housewife, right? Those are my conditions that she has to agree to if she wants to live here.
What in the world do you think you're doing? Do you want to get in the way of your son's marriage or something? First of all, a title like that shouldn't be written by a grown man in his 50s. I was actually quite disturbed when I heard you wrote that. And second of all, Glauco and Nadia aren't going to be living with us. I already told you that they've already found a new house and that they're going to be moving there once they get married, right?
What? Of course they found a house they're going to be moving into once they get married. This house. And why in the world would I want to get in the way of my son's marriage? You're the one who's getting in the way of their marriage by working night shifts all the time. I'm telling you, this is going to cause problems between you and Nadia. At this rate, she's going to be one of those wives that looks down on their mother-in-law, and that's never any good.
I already told you that Nadia isn't the kind of person that would judge someone based on something that superficial. Besides, when did we agree that Glauco and Nadia would be moving in with us after they got married? Because that's what you seem to be telling them.
I mean, it's obvious, so there's no need to say it, right? Of course they're going to be moving in with us. Oh, I get it now. Nadia's already started looking down on you. And this is your way of getting revenge and bullying her in return, isn't it?
Huh? Honestly, I'm impressed at your imagination, Lucio. If only you could use it for something a bit more useful. Who knows, you might make a good short story author or something.
Huh? What in the world are you talking about? Writing short stories isn't a proper profession, Maria. Anyways, if they move in with us, me and Glauco are going to find out about the tensions that you already have between you two. So you're trying to get them to not move in with us no matter what? This is why the quarrels between women are so hard to deal with.
What in the world are you talking about, Lucio?
I guess it can't be helped. You leave me no choice but to resort to my secret weapon. The daughter-in-law that starts looking down on her mother-in-law is a problem too, of course. But the start of all of this mess is you refusing to quit your night shifts. I don't want to deal with the two of you fighting in the house. So leave.
What? Are you being serious right now?
Yes. That also means I'm divorcing you. Don't consider this place your home anymore.
You're confusing me more and more, Lucio. You know that we're renting this apartment that we're currently living in, right? And of course, you also know who's the one paying for the rent, right? If you divorce me, then who's going to pay for the rent?
What? That's what you were worried about? I could pay 200 euros a month as well, you know.
Huh? 200 euros a month?
The rent for this apartment is 1,200 euros a month, right? Glauco pays 1,000 euros a month, while you pay 200 euros a month, right? It won't make much of a difference whether I have to pay 200 euros a month or not, don't you think? Also, the housework isn't going to be a problem as well. Nadia is going to be moving in with us, so she'll take your place and do it for us when you're gone.
Wow, I just don't have any words anymore. I can't even bother to argue with you anymore since you seem to not understand a word I say. Fine, if you want to get divorced, then let's get divorced.
I see. All right, I'll get the divorce papers from the city hall. So could you pack your stuff while I'm doing that? So you can leave this house as soon as possible, you know? Mother, Dad said you two were going to get divorced.
Yeah, what he says is true this time. You see, I just couldn't find the motivation to argue with him anymore.
What happened?
Well, you see, he has a ton of misunderstandings, and he keeps deciding things on his own as if all that he says is true. He even said that he didn't tell me about you guys moving in with us since it's so obvious there was no need to tell me in the first place. Not only that, but he thinks me and Nadia are fighting now for some reason and says that it's my fault for not quitting my night shifts.
What?
Yeah, and you won't believe this, but he even thinks that the rent we have to pay for this house is 1,200 euros a month.
Huh? Where did he get that idea?
I know, right? He thinks that I pay 200 euros a month and that you pay 1,000 euros a month.
Huh?
Oh, and he even said that the housework isn't going to be a problem since once Nadia moves in, he's going to make her do it in my place.
Seriously?
There were a lot of other crazy things he told me, but I can't even bother to explain them to you anymore. I'll just send you and Nadia screenshots of the conversation we had by text later.
Looks like you had to put up with a lot, Mom.
That's an understatement, but thanks. You said that you and Nadia would be moving to your new house at the end of next month, right?
Yeah.
I plan on terminating the contract of our current house at the same time your dad and I get divorced. Sorry, but could you and Nadia move to this new house of yours a bit earlier than you had previously planned?
I understand. But still, I wonder what Dad intends on doing from now on. I mean, no matter what Dad says, the truth is that you pay for all the rent plus my living expenses. Without you, this family wouldn't be able to support itself financially.
I gave up trying to explain it to him. Not only does he not understand a word I say, even when I explain it to him very carefully, but he also acts as if he's the one who's right all of the time. I don't think a person like that will ever understand until they're faced with the reality.
Yep. You know Dad best after all. I think you should do whatever you think is best, Mother. Just know that me and Nadia are on your side.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to leave now. You're at that one-day job of yours now, right? I just turned in the divorce papers earlier, and I just got done packing right now, so I'm going to leave now.
Oh, finally! You know, I was actually starting to get a little impatient and thought of kicking you out by force.
Is that so? I mean, I had to find a new place to live and sign the necessary contracts as soon as my night shift ended, so it couldn't be helped.
Yeah, whatever. What about Nadia? When is she going to be moving in?
I don't know the details, but apparently she's going to be moving around the same time I leave.
Oh, so that means she's going to be here by tomorrow.
What? I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to be canceling the contract of this house, so no one's going to be moving in by tomorrow.
What? What do you mean you're canceling the contract?
I mean, I'm the legal owner of this house, and if I'm going to be leaving, then it's only natural that I cancel the contract, don't you think? I already explained this to you several times, didn't I?
Wait, hold on. If you really are the legal owner or something, then just let Glauco be the legal owner instead. Do the necessary paperwork with the landowners and make it happen.
That's impossible.
Come on, Maria. Do you understand what you're saying right now? The three of us are supposed to live in this house from now on. You can't just cancel the contract because of your selfishness. Is it all right with you if me and your son become homeless?
But I heard that Glauco and Nadia already found a new place to live. It looks like you have a lot of misunderstandings, but you do know that Glauco proposed to Nadia because he was relocated to another region at his job, right? They're going to be moving to near Glauco's new workplace once they get married. Which means that the €1,000 a month he was kind enough to give us for our living expenses until now will also be gone.
Huh? What do you mean €1,000 a month for living expenses? You mean that he pays €1,000 a month to the rent, right?
That's the next thing I wanted to tell you. I pay for all of the rent here.
What? You were paying €1,200 a month and not 200?
You've got that wrong as well. The rent is €2,000 a month, not €120 a month.
€2,000 a month?
All of this is your fault, you know. The fact that me and Glauco have to step up like this.
Huh? What do you mean it's my fault?
The fact that your company went bankrupt 3 years ago can't be helped, and it wasn't your fault. But after that, you seem to have zero motivation to go out and find another job. All you did ever since then was work one-day jobs when you felt like it. You would earn €800 in a good month, but only €300 on bad months. We were only able to rent this house that cost €2,000 a month in the first place because both of us had proper jobs at the time. Then you lost your job, but for some reason you refused to move. Since you had no intention of finding a proper job again, the only choice we had was for me to work harder than before. Do you understand? That was the situation at the time, so I told the company about it and made a request asking them to let me work night shifts, which pay well. Even after all that, we were still only barely able to get by, which is why Glauco gave us €1,000 a month from his own salary. I was really thankful for his help, but I was also ashamed I had to rely on my own son since my husband was such a mess.
I didn't understand much of what you said, but does that mean I'm going to be living in this house on my own from now on?
No. Like I said, I'm canceling the contract on this house, so you need to leave by the end of next month. Unless, of course, you want to buy it for yourself, although, considering how much money you make a month, I think that's impossible.
But, so, all of you are just going to leave me? Why in the world did it come to this?
I can't bother to explain myself to you anymore, so why don't you think of why this happened yourself?
Tell me!
No, I'm done explaining things to you all the time, since it clearly has no effect.
So you're just going to ignore the demands of your husband? I'm the pillar of this family, and you have to do what I say.
But I just turned in our divorce papers to the city hall. You're not my husband anymore, Lucio. And you definitely weren't the pillar of this family, especially these last few years.
But...
Fine, I'll give you a hint as to what was the cause of all of this.
A hint? Tell me!
Delusional princess. Goodbye.
Huh? What do you mean, delusional princess? That hint is too hard to understand. Give me another one!
The first thought that came to me after I got divorced was, I should have done this sooner. I knew that once my son got married and left the house, we wouldn't be able to maintain our current lifestyle, as he wouldn't be able to give €1,000 a month to us anymore. I talked with Lucio about this and tried to convince him into moving into a cheaper apartment, but he seemed to like this house a lot and refused to move out. What happened next, you already know. After I canceled the contract, my husband now had nowhere to go and was also practically unemployed. It seems that even he understood that he was in trouble and that he had to do something. So he went to the job hunting center to find a job. It seems he found a job that came with housing, but apparently that personality of his still hasn't changed. He keeps saying these extremely delusional things that, at best, confuse everyone. And he even tries to get the younger employees who've been working there longer than him to do what he says. Because of this, no one wants to be anywhere near him, and so he spends his free time being alone and lonely.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.